Albert Einstein is the kind of genius we put on posters and t-shirts, but the real story behind his mind is far stranger than a high IQ score. What made him so clever wasn't a superhuman brain, but a bizarre way of looking at reality itself. Imagine a mind that treats everyday things, time, light, falling, waiting for a train, as pieces of a dark cosmic puzzle. Einstein's real talent was that he never stopped asking, "What is really going on here?" long after everyone else had decided the answers were obvious. As a teenager, he became obsessed with a single, strange daydream. What would it be like to chase a beam of light? He imagined racing alongside it, as fast as light itself, and wondered, would I see the wave frozen beside me, like a still ripple hanging in space? That question haunted him for years and quietly cracked open the foundations of 19th-century physics. The science of his time said that frozen light waves should not exist, yet his imagination kept insisting on the paradox. Instead of ignoring the contradiction, he treated it like a splinter in his mind that he refused to pull out. That stubborn curiosity, clinging to a simple, uncomfortable question, was one of the secret engines of his genius. Strangely, the revolution didn't begin in a grand laboratory, but in a cramped office in Bern, Switzerland. Einstein worked there as a low-level patent clerk, reading other people's inventions by day and running wild thought experiments in his head. By night, he later called the patent office that worldly cloister where I hatched my most beautiful ideas. In that quiet, dusty room, he imagined trains racing past stations, lightning striking at different points, and clocks struggling to stay synchronized. He pictured observers on platforms and on trains, each insisting on a different story about what happened at the same time. From this mental theater came a shocking conclusion. Time itself can flow differently for different people, depending on how they move. Then he took his imagination one step further. He pictured someone falling from a roof, or sealed inside a rising elevator, trying to decide if what they felt was gravity or just acceleration. From that simple image, he realized that gravity might not be a force pulling things down, but the bending of space and time themselves. In 1905, his miracle year, he published a series of papers that changed physics forever, about light, atoms, motion, and the deep link between mass and energy. He did this not as a famous professor, but as an unknown clerk who simply kept thinking more deeply about simple questions than almost anyone else alive. People love to say Einstein was a bad student who failed math, as if he stumbled into greatness by accident. In reality, he was very strong in mathematics and physics, but he clashed with rigid schools that valued memorization and obedience more than curiosity. He distrusted authority, ignored what bored him, and followed the problems that set his mind on fire. Einstein didn't just think in equations, he thought in pictures, feelings, and little mental movies. He would walk, daydream, play his violin, and let images of trains, beams of light, and falling bodies collide in his imagination until a simple pattern emerged. His brain wasn't a calculator. It was a projector that replayed the same strange scene again and again until the universe finally made sense. Behind the myth of the effortless genius was a man who worked with relentless patience. He returned to the same core mysteries for years, even decades, instead of chasing trendy ideas or easy results. Cleverness, for him, was endurance, the willingness to sit with confusion long enough for a deeper answer to rise to the surface. Even his personal habits hinted at how seriously he took his inner world. He protected his thinking time with long walks, simple routines, and quiet, as if his mind were a fragile laboratory where ideas needed space to grow slowly. Most of all, Einstein never lost a childlike sense of wonder. Even after fame, prizes, and headlines, he stayed amazed by ordinary things, by clocks, stars, and falling objects, in a world that had grown numb to its own strangeness. Today, the ripple effects of his strange way of thinking reach into GPS satellites, electronics, nuclear energy, and modern cosmology. Every time your phone figures out where you are, it quietly corrects for Einstein's relativity, because one man refused to accept that time ticks the same everywhere. So why was Einstein so clever? Because he combined ruthless curiosity, vivid imagination, and stubborn independence into a single lifelong experiment. Figure out what the universe is really doing, no matter how weird the answer turns out to be. The haunting question his life leaves us with is this: how much of reality are we missing because we stopped asking simple, inconvenient questions?